Hey guys, Zach here, and welcome back to another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs. Rodan 2-pack. Now, this 2-pack comes from the upcoming film, Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I think is going to be very good. There are some things I don't like about it, but I'll talk about that when I upload my review for it when it does come out. It probably won't be immediately when the movie comes out. I'll see it, as a first, reaction, but then I'll look at it, like in a more artistic manner the second time around, so yeah. Anyway, I still think that the movie looks great, and I cannot wait to see it, so yeah. Anyway, with all that out of the way, let's take a quick look at the cardboard cutout that we get. And unlike with the Mothra 2-pack, this is actually seen from the movie. I'm going by all the trailers here, so spoiler alert if you have not seen any of the trailers yet. Basically, Rodan comes out of this volcano and he wreaks havoc on this Greek city, or no, not Greek city, but this town right here. I'm not really cultural. I do apologize if I messed that up completely, but yeah. Anyway, that is a scene from the movie, and I do like that they went for this. However, just like with the Mothra 2-pack, it's just a very thin, very cheap piece of cardboard with a little stand underneath it. So yeah. And this is supposed to be a backdrop, which is stupid because here's Godzilla. Yeah, if this was a little bigger, then maybe, but Godzilla's bigger than the backdrop itself, so yeah, I can't imagine this working for kids. However, something I kind of like to think of this I kind of like to think of this as like the collector's card from the Jurassic Park toy line. So I guess that's one way to look at it, but if you do look at it as a backdrop for your monster battles, then yeah, it's not good at all. So yeah. Anyway, with that being said, that's it for the card. Now for Rodan. Now, unlike with the Mothra 2-pack, this figure is actually pretty good, considering. It's not great by any means. It's not even good. It's decent at best, but considering the quality, of the toy line and, the price, it's still not bad, so yeah. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the paint. And the painting on this figure is not bad. Not great, but not bad. Most of the figure is a red color with some black dry brushing all throughout, which some spots it looks really nice, like on the wings here. But then once you get to the body, yeah, that doesn't really look great. And the head's kind of a mess as well, but yeah. Also, the eyes are painted yellow, and that's pretty much it for the paint. Not great, but not terrible either. I'd say the paint here gets, this is actually new, but I'd say that the paint here gets 3/4 of a pass. It's not a complete pass, but it's not a pass and a half either, so yeah, it's whatever, so yeah. Anyway, now we'll be taking a look at the articulation, and the articulation on this figure is, it's not bad, but there is one thing I don't like, and that's mainly with the wings, but we'll talk about that in a second. But first, the legs can move backwards this much and forwards this much. The head is on a swivel, so it can do a 360. It can't look up and down, which is kind of a shame, but, that's just how the cookie crumbles. And the wings are on hinges, so they can move back that far and forward this far. However, don't do that because that'll just mess up the wings. Because as you can see here, they just droop now, which is a shame, to be honest. It would have been nice if the hinges were kind of, or not hinges, but it would have been nice if these joints were, stronger, but, they're not, so you just kind of have to deal with this. And that's the same problem I have with the Mothra figure, so yeah. However, unlike the Mothra figure, there actually is a 6-inch version of this figure that you can get for about 15 bucks. I don't have it because I've never been able to find it in stores, but yeah, just throwing that out there. But that about does it for the articulation. I could forgive the lack of articulation because I really don't expect a lot, but at least put a little bit more care into the wings. But yeah, I'd say the articulation on this figure, I'd say it gets a pass and a half. Now I'll take a look at the sculpt, and the sculpting on this figure is, well, it's pretty simple. It's not breathtaking or anything like that. It's just simple and all it really needs to be. It's basically Rodan from Godzilla King of the Monsters. And really quick, I just want to say that this is actually a much better sculpt than the Bandai Movie Monster Series Rodan, because in my opinion, that figure actually looks bad in terms of sculpt, because it looks nothing like how he does in Godzilla King of the Monsters, just by going by the trailers. So, yeah, this figure is way better in that aspect, but as, like, you know, on its own, it's decent at best. So, yeah, the sculpting on this figure, not great, but not terrible, so it gets a pass and a half. Now take a look at the detailing, and the detailing here is pretty good for the most part. There are some spots where, yeah, it doesn't look great, but yeah. Anyway, taking a look at the wings. The detailing here actually looks very nice. So I actually really like how that looks. And that detailing continues all the way through the back. And again, that looks very good. For the price of this figure at least, but yeah. Anyway, going to the front of the body, the detailing on the underside of the wings still looks good, but not as good as the back. The legs are detailed okay. Not great, just okay. The lower torso looks good, but the upper torso does not. And the head is just kind of, yeah, not great either. The head is small, so I can forgive that, but still something that's worth pointing out. So, yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for Rodan. Now, how about Godzilla? I'm just going to move Rodan out of the way just so I don't knock him over later on. So, yeah. Anyway, Godzilla himself is just a repaint of the quote-unquote burning Godzilla that came with the Mothra 2-pack, so I'm not going to go into too much detail when it comes to articulation and sculpt and whatnot. So, yeah. When it comes to that, I'm kind of breeze through it because it's the same as that figure, so if you want, you can check out my previous video, which was the Godzilla vs. Mothra 2-pack, so yeah. Definitely do that in case you want a more in-depth look at this figure in terms of sculpt and whatnot. So, yeah. Anyway, taking a look at the paint. The painting here is pretty good for what it is. Not great or anything. Not, you know, NECA quality or SH Monster Arts quality. But, again, pretty good. Most of the body is a blackish color with a glossy finish to it, which does look pretty nice. The dorsal plates are painted blue, trying to recreate that scene from the trailer. And the eyes are blue. And the teeth are a bonish whitish color. And in the front of the body, we have a gray dry brushing effect going on, which actually looks very nice. I like how that looks. Unfortunately, it's not really on the arms or anything like that, or the legs. It's just on the front side of the body, which, again, is kind of a shame, but I can live with that, so yeah. And that about does it for the paint on this figure. Not bad. It could have been a little better, but for what it is, again, it's not bad, so yeah. The paint, I'd say just like with Rodan, I'd say that the paint gets 3/4 of a pass, so yeah. Anyway, the articulation, again, not going to go into too much detail with the rest of the, you know, detailing and whatnot on this figure, so I'm just going to briefly go over everything here. And if you do want an in-depth look at everything here, then check out my Mothra 2-pack review, so yeah. And that's pretty much it for the articulation. Again, for what it is, it's good, so it gets a pass. Now for the sculpt, and it's basically Godzilla from Godzilla King of the Monsters, which I actually like this design more than I like the Godzilla 2014 design. I like that design, but this one is just, you know, that but better. I really like what they did with the dorsal plates and whatnot, so yeah. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the sculpt. Again, it's good, so it gets a pass. Now for the detailing. And the detailing here is very nice. All the scales and all the gills right there. Everything on this figure looks good. Not great, but good. The legs could look better, as well as the arms. However, the tail does look good. And the dorsal plates have no detailing on them whatsoever, so yeah. And that about does it for the detailing. Again, considering the price of this set, I'd say the detailing for Godzilla gets a pass. And at the end of the day, should you get this? I mean, if you're a collector, then I'd say no, but if you're buying this for a kid, or if you are a kid who, you know, wants cheap Godzilla figures, then I'd say that this would work, you know. The backdrop, I mean, it's not a good backdrop, but again, you could just kind of think of it as like the Jurassic Park collector's card, so yeah. So this set is not bad. This is a Walmart exclusive, so you can find this at Walmart for about $10, which really isn't bad because you're getting 2 figures plus a card, so yeah. So considering the price, I'd say this isn't the worst pickup if you're a kid, but there are better figures to get, so yeah. If you're a collector, then stay away from these, stay away from all the figures from Jakks Pacific, but if you're a kid and you want, you know, something cheap and simple, then I'd say that this is for you, so yeah. Anyway, if you want to know how big this set is, here they both are next to Dr. Billy Grant. Alright, now that is it for today. Have a great rest of your week, and I will see you in the next video. Peace, Zek out.